Hey everyone, I am so excited about today's video because I'm going to be doing my first unboxing video of product that I have received from a sponsor. So a little bit about me, my name is Kevin, and this year, starting in April of 2025, I'm going to be attempting a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail. Now this hike is especially important to me. Of course, it's important to all of us thru hikers, but with this thru hike, one of my biggest goals is a Walking for Wellness campaign. So throughout the thru hike, I'm going to be talking about wellness in general, wellness for me, wellness for you, and especially for our schools, because our schools are really struggling with loneliness and isolation and a mental health crisis that's not only sweeping our nation, but it's sweeping the entire world. But wellness is about so much more than just our physical health. It's also about our emotional, mental, and spiritual health. So the GoFundMe campaign that I've started is called Walking for Wellness. I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll fund the campaign. And I hope you'll support some of the sponsors who are supporting me in this adventure. So far, I have gained 3 official sponsors. And today, I am so excited to share with you my big sponsor, Hammer Nutrition. Okay, this shirt is probably like 15 years old now, but I've been using Hammer Nutrition products, which are endurance sport athlete products, for more than 20 years. I love Hammer products. And for this thru hike, I know there's a lot of people that get sponsors for their channels, but I still have fewer than 400 subscribers to my channel. I'm not yet an influencer. So I reached out to Hammer because their products are so good, and thru hiking and backpacking and hiking are an endurance sport, is an endurance sport. And when we're doing endurance sports, we have to fuel ourselves really, really well. It's even more critical when it's day in and day out. So a little bit more background about me is I've been backpacking for 26 years. I got my start with Knowles, that's a National Outdoor Leadership School. And I've been a triathlete and an Ironman triathlete and coach for 24 years. I'm actually injury-free for 24 years. And I've made a lot of videos and posted them to my channel about how you can become injury-free or help you overcome some of the injuries and ailments that you've struggled with. So check out those videos. But today, I want to share with you how Hammer is sponsoring me with this unboxing video. I actually wrote Hammer a cold email and asked them if they would sponsor this Walking for Wellness campaign, and they said yes. I'm so excited. I want to share with you why I chose each of these products and how I think they're going to help me be successful to reaching Katahdin in this Appalachian Trail thru hike. Okay, so you got to get this on the first take, right? So we are going to start with the unboxing of my first Hammer Nutrition supply of products. Now these products are really more supplemental, but I think they're critical to being successful, or at least to my success. And because, you know, most of the food that I'll be eating on trail is regular trail food, right? You know, gorp and oats and granola, you know, summer sausage, cheese, tuna packets, chicken packets, and we'll see how much freeze-dried food I actually use, because I do plan to do a lot of cold soaking. But with Hammer Nutrition, this is a lot of the supplemental product that I'm going to need to be successful on this big adventure. Okay, so we cut the tape, so let's dig in to the Hammer Nutrition first batch. All right. I can't wait. Okay, here's our packing ticket and a bunch of packing material. We don't need that. Okay, so let's get started. First thing I am seeing is a buff. While my clothing and gear is already quite dialed in, I asked for a buff because, you know, let's be honest, it's easy branding to help my sponsor, Hammer Nutrition. So I asked for a buff, and this will replace my current buff. Okay, so here's the buff. Is it easy to remove? Let's see. It feels a little stiff, which is weird, but I think that's just the paper. Yeah, it's got paper inside of it. Interesting. Okay. So here is the Hammer buff that will replace my current Hammer buff, and I can already tell this one is a lot lighter than my current one. All right, we're just putting stuff on the floor. So there is the first piece of gear. Excited about that. Okay, also what I see in here is a hat. This is their running hat. Man, this is super lightweight. bright color, which I really like a lot. And, you know, it's one size fits all. It has a dark underbill and a reflective rim. So that'll be, you know, good for visibility, of course. So this will replace my current hat that you've seen in some of my other videos. My current hat is really wide and big, but I can tell this is a lot lighter. Now this doesn't have the neck protection, but I will use my hoodie for that. All right, there we go. How does that look? Okay, so first we got some clothing, right? How fun is that? I think there's one more piece of clothing. Actually, there's two. This would be a cotton hammer t-shirt. I think it's cotton. Moisture wicking microfiber poly. Okay, so this is a this is a long sleeve tech t-shirt. So we'll see if I actually take this on the trail. But super lightweight. And then another shirt. Wow, this is really light. It's kind of got a grid material. Oh my God, this is super duper light. Man, this is really getting in the way. So this is a Voler base layer shirt. So this could very well replace, one of these will replace my long sleeve t-shirt that I got from Old Navy for $8, but I will use one of these hammer shirts. They're both tech shirts as my base layer or my pajama layer. Okay, so that is the clothing so far. A long sleeve tech shirt, a short sleeve base layer tech shirt, a buff, and this sweet hat. Okay, so that will replace some of my clothing that I already have in my gear kit. Okay, next thing. Let's do this big jug right here. So what we have here is Hammer Heed. So Heed is a sport drink, and I love this sport drink. I can literally use just Heed for a half marathon race or training session. Heed is a complex carbohydrate, and it has only 2 grams of sugar, and it also has a full spectrum of electrolyte in it as well. One of the things I love so much about Hammer's Heed is that it is a very subtle flavor. So, you know, it's recommended to do a scoop in like 16 ounces of water, but I do a half scoop in 32 ounces of water because I still get the flavor, so I can pound the fluid, and it's such a light flavor. Even at full strength, it's also a very light flavor, and it tastes great. This Cherry Bomb has a little caffeine. It's a newer flavor, but all their flavors are good. I've tried them all over the years, and they're fantastic. But with Hammer Heed, you're not going to have the spikes and crashes of sugar and insulin and everything. So it's mainly maltodextrin with a little bit of stevia and xylitol to sweeten it. But again, it's very subtle flavor, very light on the sweet, and only 2 grams of sugar. So if you want a real sport drink that's not going to upset your stomach, this is the way to go. Okay, so we've got Hammer Heed. I love that stuff. Okay, what do we have here? We've got Recoverite. Now I'm going to have to portion this stuff out in some of my resupplies, but Recoverite is Hammer Nutrition's recovery drink. I talked about this in a previous video. This stuff is awesome. I swear by this stuff. It has a 3-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein. You can get it in vegan, so that this protein will be soy, but in regular, the protein is a whey protein. Also, tapioca maltodextrin. Hammer really dials in their ingredients to be the highest quality ingredients. Okay, everybody says that. What does that really mean? But I can tell you, I have been using Hammer products for so long, and basically everything I've ever tried, I've loved. And this is what I think is going to be really helpful for me to be successful on the Appalachian Trail. Again, I'm looking at the label here, and in a single portion, there are only 2 grams of sugar, 32 grams of carbs, 0 fat, and 10 grams of protein. So this is really dialed in. It's 2 scoops is 1 portion. I think they usually recommend 16 ounces of water. Again, I'm always trying to hydrate more, so I use 32 ounces of water, and I just will shake this up in my Nalgene bottle. With the largemouth Nalgene, it's easy to scoop in powder, and so it'll be really easy on the trail. I really can't recommend this enough. I've had so many friends and athletes that I have coached over the years who have struggled with their nutrition. They've struggled with upset stomach, and I have helped so many people overcome their nutrition issues by recommending different Hammer products, and they have been super successful. I even had one athlete who had been struggling for 6 or 7 years with her nutrition, and she had qualified for Boston. I got her onto the Hammer products, and it completely solved her problem with her GI during races and during training. And she even wrote Hammer and became a featured athlete in one of Hammer Nutrition's endurance news. So I'm super excited for her. Okay, what else do we have here? Wow, did you hear all of that? So they have supplied me with Hammer bars. Fantastic. Okay, so Hammer bars. Now, I don't typically use Hammer bars. I like them. They've given me 2 boxes. I think this is 12 bars per box. So that will definitely help me 12 days. Now, I'll probably be eating some kind of energy bar, one in the morning as like a morning snack and one as an afternoon snack. Now, okay, I'll be completely honest and transparent. Hammer bars are a little bit expensive for my budget, but I'm so excited that they've, given them to me for this thru hike. Lots of different flavors. It doesn't have the nutrition panel, but this is mostly a carbohydrate type bar with all natural ingredients. So I'm super, super excited about that. Well, actually, let's just open it up. Okay, this is a whole box of oatmeal apple. Okay, so oatmeal apple. And let's just do a quick look if I can read this. 1 bar is 200 calories, 7 grams of fat. Total sugars is 16. Total carbs is 30. And total protein is 4 grams. Okay, so you can look that up on the website, but that's the energy bar. Super excited to have these as one of my snacks for the afternoon or for the morning. Okay, Endurolyte Extreme. So this is Hammer Nutrition's electrolyte replacement capsule. Now, this is actually how I got my start with Hammer Nutrition. Back in like 2003, when I was getting started with triathlon, I am still a very salty sweater. My sweater, not a sweater you wear, but sweater perspiration, right? So when I finish a workout, and my clothes dry, even my backpack when it dries, there are all these salt lines, these white lines of salt on my clothes, on my backpack, on my straps and everything, on my face. It's just dusty powder. So I was asking a friend who had a little bit more triathlon experience what he uses for electrolytes, because I was thinking maybe I need some replacement. And again, this is back in 2003, so people didn't really know as much about electrolytes back then as they do now. And so he recommended Hammer's Endurolytes. Now, these are Endurolyte Extreme, which is basically 1 Hammer Endurolyte is like 3 Endurolyte Extremes. So that's why they gave me this bottle. And wow, what a difference. I mean, Endurolytes are like a magic pill. There was even a time when some races or sport industries were claiming that Endurolytes were like doping, and that was all proven not to be true. It's not doping. But what I love so much about Endurolytes is that it is a true full spectrum electrolyte. So many different electrolytes out there are only sodium, they're only potassium, or they're only sodium and potassium. Maybe they put a little magnesium in them, but they're not full spectrum. But Hammer's Endurolytes and all of their electrolyte replacements are a full spectrum electrolyte. So this has calcium, magnesium, manganese, chloride, sodium, and potassium. It doesn't have it in some of these really crazy, ridiculous, like 1,000 milligrams per serving, which is, I got to be honest with you, I just think that's actually dangerous, especially if you're not hydrating well. If you're not drinking enough water, and most people rarely drink enough water, you can really get your electrolytes out of balance. So it's great to replenish them, but are you keeping up with your water to really balance out that 1,000 milligrams or 900 milligrams of sodium? And are you getting the other electrolytes that you need? When you're getting all the electrolytes in the full panel, and they use a mostly, I always pronounce this wrong, chelate or chelate form, or the chloride form, or the citrate form, that chelate form or chelate form is one of the most readily absorbable forms of that electrolyte, and that's the form for calcium, magnesium, and manganese. So if you really want a full spectrum electrolyte, and I actually can't think of one on the market off the top of my head, and I've checked dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of nutrition labels, the full spectrum is really going to do you the best in your exercise and for your performance. Okay, so this is 120 capsules. And I'm not sure how many I'll be taking at a time through the days and weeks, but I love these things. They work so well. Okay, so similar to the capsules, this is Endurolyte Extreme Powder. Okay, so this is basically a scoop of this is similar to one capsule, but this is a powder that you add to your water. It has a very slight watermelon flavor, natural watermelon flavor. And it uses monk fruit extract, I think it is, as a sweetener. Again, this is so subtle, and I usually put 1 scoop in a liter of water rather than 1 scoop it's a tiny little scoop, 1 scoop in 16 ounces of water. Again, whatever your taste preference is, but this is a way to add a little bit of flavor to your water. And for me, when there's a little bit of flavor in my water, it's a lot easier for me to pound the water. Okay, Endurolyte Extreme Powder with a little bit of flavor to get your full spectrum electrolyte replacement. All right, I love this stuff too. Okay, what else do we have? Well, we have a whole assortment of hammer gels. Now, I know gels are really popular out on the market. I don't really use gels very often anymore. I know that the gels are only carbohydrates. It is 100 calories per serving. It has 2.5 grams of fat, 19 grams of carbs, 1 gram of protein. Okay. Now, these do taste a little bit stronger, but they're not as strongly flavored as typical gels on the market. But if you need that quick burst, and some of them are caffeinated, with all natural ingredients for like all the different flavors, and I've seen banana, vanilla, espresso, nocciola, peanut butter, apple cinnamon. I mean, all kind. And I got to tell you, the Montana huckleberry flavor is just really my favorite flavor of all the hammer gels. But I don't really use hammer gels anymore because I don't typically need that spike so much. But I will be carrying these, and if you see me on the trail, I will be happy to give you these hammer gels that I have available, because I'm more than happy to share the wealth. And if somebody needs a quick pick me up, then a hammer gel can work. So I'll probably be carrying that for my fellow hikers. Sometimes if your blood sugar is crashing, if you're not as fat adapted and your blood sugar is crashing, then a gel can really be a savior. And hopefully I won't need that, but I'm happy to help anyone else who might. Okay, but what I do use a lot more and quite often is, okay, I've got 3 tubes of this, 4 tubes of Hammer Perpetuum solids. Okay, let's talk about Perpetuum and Perpetuum solids. So Hammer started out with their really long course, or their long duration training with Perpetuum and sustained energy. And these are powders that you add to water, and they basically are mostly complex carbs, maltodextrin, a little bit of fat. I mean, we're talking like 2 grams of fat, and just a little bit of protein. Like 1 serving of Hammer Perpetuum has like 2 or 3 grams of protein. And And this is an amazing fuel. So whenever I was doing an exercise bout that was 2 hours or definitely more than 3 hours, then Hammer Perpetuum was my go-to fuel. It actually fills your belly a little bit, but it has that little bit of protein, and I'm talking little bit. I'm not talking 30 grams of protein like a protein bar. It only has like 2 or 3 grams of protein per serving and like 30 grams of carbohydrates per serving, complex carbs. Again, they're always very low in sugar. In fact, I think all of Hammer's products are diabetic friendly. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go to the website, call their customer service, because their customer service is incredible. But Perpetuum really helps give you that sustained energy, which is why they have the product sustained energy. But it's that little bit of protein that you need when you're doing these 3, 4, 6, 10, 12, 15-hour exercise workouts, okay, or on race day. And then what happens if anybody's ever left protein in a shaker bottle too long, or in the car, I mean, it smells rancid, like absolute garbage, and you might not even be able to clean your shaker bottle for that protein drink. So what Hammer did is they created the Hammer Solid, and this is about the size of a bottle cap, like a Smart Water bottle cap, and you just chew it up. Again, very subtle flavor. I've got cafe latte here. I've got orange, which is actually my favorite. I've got strawberry. There's 6 solids per. And I've got chocolate. Okay. So when I was doing my Ironman, I actually, or even just if I'm doing a 6-hour bike ride, I can carry 3 of these sleeves. Okay. So I can carry this and water. And this is all I need for a 6-hour bike ride, because 3 of these is 1 serving. So if I did 1 serving an hour, this could get me through 6 hours, no problem at all. This is all I have to carry. I can carry this in my jersey pocket on a bike ride. So Hammer Solids, I'm not sure if I'll really be carrying these on the trail, because again, I'll be using regular food and definitely the energy bars that Hammer supplied. But solids are amazing for that little bit of sustained energy that's not going to give you the highs and lows of a sugary fuel, and it's not going to upset your stomach, and it just gives you the exact kind of complex carbs and little bit of protein that you need when you're exercising for 2, 3, again, many hours at a time. Now, this could be helpful if, like, I would use Hammer Solids if I was doing just the 4-state challenge or just the Maryland section of the Appalachian Trail in a single push, and I've done that many times. I've done that with just Hammer Solids. So water, electrolytes, and just Hammer Solids, and that's good for a 14-hour day. Again, you want a real meal after that, but, well, Recoverite and then a real meal after that. But with Hammer Solids, that's all the fuel I need, So these things are amazing. So if you're doing exercise training or races that are 2, 3 plus hours, then I would highly recommend Perpetuum or Perpetuum Solids. Oh, the nice thing about the solids is you don't have to mix them with water. You just chew them up, or you can suck on them in your mouth to make it last a little bit longer. And since you don't have to mix it with water, they're a lot more easily accessible and more convenient to use. So that's why I love having the solids. Okay, now the last item is, this is it. Okay, the last item, and this is actually the main reason why I reached out to Hammer Nutrition to be a sponsor of this thru-hike, is for their Daily Essential Kit. So their Daily Essential Kit, which I talked about in a previous video, but I'm going to go into it here, is their premium insurance caps, which is like their multivitamin, Race Cap Supreme, which is very much a CoQ10 formula, and their Mito caps, which stands for mitochondria. It's for mitochondrial health, because it's your mitochondria that's actually making the ATP, the energy that you need to do these big activities, right? When I was doing my big training for half Ironman and Ironman, and you're training day in and day out, you're swimming in the morning, you're running or biking in the evening, you're working out 6 days a week, you're doing 12 workouts a week plus a rest day. This day in and day out exercise, you are depleting your body of so many vitamins and minerals. And even the most perfect diet is not going to replace all these vitamins and minerals. You can try and do it as much as you like, but it's just not possible. You have to supplement. So this daily essential kit is something that I want to be using every single day of my thru hike. So the premium insurance, it's actually interesting. So one dose of your daily essential kit is 7 premium insurance caps, 3 race cap supreme, and 3 Mito caps. I usually split this half in the morning, half in the evening. And with the B2 that you're getting, your pee is going to be like neon yellow. But you know, that's okay. Just keep hydrating. But when I was using the daily essential kit day after day, I was having good workout day after day after day after day. It was almost like unbelievable how I was having awesome workouts day after day for half Ironman and Ironman training. And with doing 8, 10, 12, 14 hours of hiking day after day after day on the Appalachian Trail, I wanted to really ensure that I was refueling my body and getting all the vitamins and minerals that I need to be successful with this adventure. So this is what I'm starting with. I'll have to divide it up into my shipments, but this is my Hammer Nutrition. Thank you so much for being an official sponsor of the Walking for Wellness campaign. There will be a code, maybe I'll put on the screen and in the description, a code that I will give you that you can get, I think it's 15% off your first order direct from Hammer Nutrition. And I do get a little bit of a credit or discount toward my next order as well. But you can get an order. So I would actually recommend doing as big an order as you like for that first order direct from Hammer, hammernutrition.com, and you can get a discount on these products. You've seen a variety. They have a whole slew of other food products. They have a whole bunch, I mean, like a lot of supplements, like for tissue regeneration and for vitamin C and for digestion, for sinuses. They have a lip balm. They have a salve for like chafing. They have a whole bunch of different products. And again, I've tried most of them. I would also recommend, like if you're really doing a lot of really hot, sweaty training and workouts, they've got a product called Liquid Endurance, which is like glycerin, but it really helps you hold that water, not like creatine. But that stuff is like amazing. They've got Race Day Boost, which is a like lactic acid buffer that you dose yourself like the 4 days before like a big race. You only want to do this like once or twice a year, but wow, your muscles feel incredible after doing that 4-day regimen of Race Day Boost. They also have Fully Charged, which is again another amazing little product based on cherry, is it cherry or raspberry? It's something that really helps open up your cardiovascular performance. And I'll tell you what, I took some of that, just a single portion before a 10K. And I mean, I had an amazing 10K race. It was like putting nitrous oxide in your gas tank of a car. You just boom, you're like out of the gate because your cardiovascular system is so open up. Oh, it's beets. It's like a beet, potent beet, ground up beet powder. Anyway, a lot of great products. Highly recommend reaching out to their customer service because they will talk to you. I've even spoken with their chief scientist and their owner over the years, and I just can't thank them enough for supporting this thru hike. And I hope I'll be able to help you guys out on the trail. If you see me, I'll give you a taste, of what I've got with me, and I'll definitely do anything I can to help you fuel yourself right for your next adventure. So reach out, put a comment down below, and let's all fuel ourselves and fuel right and feel great. I think that's the hashtag, and let's hammer on. So until next time, peace, love, and connect.